meeting Okay, we're good to go. 12 o'clock.
Good afternoon, everybody. The time is now 12:01. I would like to call our monthly board meeting to order. Today is August 21st. Can I get a roll call, please?
Carla Leon,
Here.
Rose Green,
Here.
Gina Rollins,
Here.
Yolanda Pagonis.
Here.
Lillian. Here. Ricardo Powell. Dr. Virginia Rivera.
Here.
Kenneth Bautista.
Here.
Francine Galan. Here. Attorney Ron McMillan.
Here.
We have a time.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Can we recite the mission statement, please?
Guam Community College is a leader in career and technical workforce development, providing the highest quality student-centered education and job training.
In front of you, you have 3 sets of meeting minutes. Monthly meeting minutes from May 11th. Let's review that first. I can get a motion to accept the monthly meeting minutes of May 11th.
I know. Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Moving on to the meeting minutes for June 3rd. To include the reconvening on June 10th. Before that special meeting. Okay, if I can get a motion to accept those meeting minutes as is.
I know. Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
None opposed? Minutes approved. Moving on to the last set of meeting minutes for August 3rd, which was also a special meeting.
Not the June 10th?
No,
June 3rd was the beginning of the meeting, I mean, we convened it on June 10th, so that should be the same.
Oh, it's together. Yeah,
Yeah,
they're together. And
So we're on August 3rd now, which was also a special meeting. Can I get a motion to accept the meeting minutes from August 3rd as is?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed? Meeting minutes approved. Okay. Moving on. Any communications?
I met with our new ACC liaison officer. So our new ACC JC liaison officer is Kristen Charles. We had Adam Clark before, but she informed me 2 days ago that she is our new officer.
Okay.
Where is she based out of?
In California.
Anything else?
Yes.
Okay. Moving on, any public discussion? No public discussion today? Okay, moving on to reports. May we start with the president's report, please?
Okay, to date, the college received $20,524,443 to support operations. This equates to approximately $13.1 million from the general fund, $7.1 million from MPF, $71,962 to support the WICHE program, and $275,000 to support the Guam Post Commission. This is equivalent to about 95% of the requested amount based on the allotment schedule. The college continues to receive regular appropriations from the Department of Administration. However, to date, we have not received funding from the capital improvement project, but this is due to the property tax deadline that was pushed back to December 31st. We are glad to report that the fall 2026 enrollment is higher than the fall enrollment at the same time last year, so we currently have 1,447 enrolled students, and we expect that the final fall enrollment for this year will surpass last year's enrollment due to the additional classes that will be offered throughout the semester and the academic year. The college actively implemented a stop-out initiative designed to encourage declared students who have not attended 2 regular consecutive semesters, and that's a fall semester and a spring semester, to re-enroll and continue their education, consequently improving our enrollment and completion numbers. The goal is to reach out to students who stopped out from fall 2022 to spring 2025. They actually had students contacted via email and telephone calls, so we're happy to report that 45 stopout students were contacted and enrolled for this semester. So that contributed to the enrollment increase.
Out of curiosity, any positive impact to enrollment increase is good, but what is the number of students versus previous fall enrollment? What's the delta?
Right now, the number of students enrolled is 1,447.
What was the previous fall?
1,424.
Also about 50 students.
Okay. We are also happy to report that there's a 20.41% increase in registered apprentices this fall. So right now we have 118 students that are registered this fall semester, and for fall 2025, there were 98.
Yes.
Were there any that were not able to register because classes were not available?
I can't, I know that they were trying to accommodate the students and offering classes to meet the timelines that they needed. So Tina, is there any?
I can say that we unarchived 2 courses to accommodate employers. And there was a class that was gonna be closed due to low enrollment, but we reopened it because we were able to get apprentices in. So as far as if they were not able to, we did our best to try to reach out to everybody and get most of them in.
And another initiative that CW did or implemented is that we're actually using DegreeWorks. So DegreeWorks is, we've used it for our post-secondary students and not for apprentices in the past. So basically what it does is it tracks the students to completion of the program. So they've entered information on their RTIs into the system so that apprenticeship office can monitor them. So I think that's it's a good thing that we've done it, because we're actually working with CRC to make sure that the classes that they need are input into the system and they are current to meet the employer needs. We are pleased to announce that 19 of the 20 students who completed our first ADN cohort have passed NCLEX, so this is a 95% completion rate, which is really good. So we only have 1 more straggler who needs to take the NCLEX, and I've been informed that the person actually registered to take the exam. And of the 19 students who passed, 18 are currently employed, and 1 submitted her application in GRMC and GMH for employment. So that's a good thing. So we hope to have 100% pass rate soon.
Is that the normal size of the cohort? About
20
20?
students.
Okay.
We currently have the second cohort ongoing, and they're set to complete at the end of spring 2027. We also had a completion ceremony for 10 participants of our Youth Build program on June 24th. The CTE Summer 26 program is very successful. We had post-secondary and secondary students enrolled in the program, 146 of them. So they were provided introductory courses into 8 different disciplines. So the students that participated could either earn elective credits for high school or post-secondary credits. So that was a big jump from last summer. I think more than 50 students, additional students registered for that program. The spring 2026 semester marked a significant milestone because we offered our first early middle college program consisting of 15 students from George Washington High School who participated in the Health, Career, and Sciences program. So of the 15 students that participated, 14 were successful in completing the semester. 6 students registered for this semester. One of the students who is going to be a senior will be enrolling at post-secondary program in education when she completes her high school program. And then the remaining 8 students will continue taking courses based on their schedule. The Reach for College Summer Bridge program supported incoming and prospective students as they transition into the college. So they participated in sessions tied to admissions process, FAFSA, placement test prep, study skills workshop, and financial literacy. The college held 2 free work ready boot camps this summer. The first is the building maintenance boot camp, which ends today, right, Tina?
Mhm.
And the participants there earned 13 college credits while gaining skills in electrical, plumbing, and carpentry. We have the truck driving boot camp 6, which ends on October 17th. And those students are being prepped to take the C-class license. And they're also being given an opportunity to earn stackable credentials in Heart Saver First Aid, CPR, AED training, work keys, work ethic, and OSHA 10. And a good thing, we're happy to report that the college is moving forward with another paramedic training cohort in partnership with the School of EMS from Tyler, Texas. So participants will be participating in a 44-week program. And we're also working actively to establish an accredited locally delivered paramedic education program. And what the program does is it prepares our local people to sit for the NREMT exam, and it creates a local pipeline here on Guam where we don't have to send students off island to get nationally certified to become a paramedic. So that initiative is funded by a DOI grant in the amount of $1,050,000. So as far as capital improvement projects for Building 300, pump repair for non-potable water has been completed, reinstalled and recommissioned. Testing and balancing work is approximately 80% complete. Communication issues exist between PCU number 3 and the DVC system, which the contractor is trying to resolve. Water storage tank repair is scheduled tentatively for this October, and J&B Monotech continues to work on punch list items. For the forensic DNA building, the latest tab report has been provided by BME to GCC's designer on record for review and comments. The designer on record has provided comments and guidance on adjustments of specified mechanical components to correct deficiencies on the tab. Based on BME's latest schedule, they anticipate and full occupancy of the building by December, including full laboratory equipment calibration commissioning. For Building 2000's emergency generator, the project is 100% complete. Project closeout and as-built have been provided by the contractor. Final payment was made via ACH to the contractor late in July. For the Culinary Arts and Baking Center Building 400, BME completed the recoding of the baking section of the floor. Curing was completed on August 4th, the reinstallation of equipment. Kitchen equipment is also complete. Corrections and enhancements to the facility's mechanical system are currently being done by the contractor. Enhancements to the generator exhaust system is being reviewed by the contractor with assistance from the generator supplier, which is Hawthorne. For Building B renovations, the contractor has received the latest tab report from its subcontractor and is working actively on correcting deficiencies identified in the report to meet design requirements. The facility's eyebrow work is 100% complete with a few minor corrections that need to be made with sloper. For continuing on with the Building B, The new upgraded elevator system should be completed by late September, and several minor punch list items such as touch-up paint, soundproofing of counselors' rooms, and repair of minor damages due to Typhoon Pavi are ongoing. The Workforce Development Center, final inspection was conducted on July 30th. A few punch list items are still pending, and that's related to mechanical and electrical. However, the facility is rendered ready for use for this fall semester. And finally, for AC replacement, the last item that is being completed is the GPA energy rebate application for all units installed under the bid.
Any questions? Okay,
Yeah, thank you.
thank you. Moving on to monthly activity reports. Student trustee, please.
The student orientation was held Monday, August 10th, 2026. We had about 170 students participated in the orientation and 50 participated in the campus tour, which we held afterwards. First day of classes, we had myself and the council and post-secondary affairs officers walk around greeting students and helping with directions or any questions that were needed. And we have our student organization induction and training, which is going to be September 4th on a Friday. Officers and advisors will be inducted for their respective student organizations. Officers and advisors will also be trained on student organization forms and processes and how to conduct meetings. And the first COPSA general membership meeting was going to be September 4th. And that is all.
Okay, thank you very much. Moving on.
Sorry. Faculty is excited to be back for the new academic year and are currently adjusting to their teaching schedules. And the faculty are working actively promoting their programs, connecting with students and highlighting the opportunities that we have here at GCC.
All right. Yeah, so the staff was really busy. We've moved into our new platform. We're still working out some little kinks in the system. That's been done. Staff have also been busy with the fall semester, getting students registered, assisting students with whatever issues they might have. And let's see. And yeah, I think that's about it.
Anything for the Board of Trustees to report on community engagement outreach?
I too, I was able to attend the 2026 Annual State Primary Care Office Conference at the HRSA building in Rockville, Maryland. It's a 2 days conference, and also I was able to, since my interest is really on the nursing workforce, I was able to meet, I have a one-on-one meeting with the director of the Division of the Nursing and Public Health and Health Workforce in HRSA, and also their senior advisor in that program. I'm happy to share that I was able to give in that opportunity to really explain about our unique situation here in Guam, our healthcare system here, and also our and the workforce issues here in Guam, especially on the healthcare professionals. Given that time, I learned a lot of grants that the GCC can avail of. I'll be sharing the flyers and information. I think I shared it with the trustee. And one of the focus that of interest that I talked to them is really our LPN to an ADN track. So there is a pathway to registered nursing program. I found out they closed that application, but she advised me that if we can start looking into that, and I think I know you can see it into the grants on the website, and her advice is to start looking into that so that we can work on giving a scholarship to our students. I also shared with them that our students here are kind of unique. This is really a building up from a nursing assistant to LPN and to ADN. And then, and most of them are working students. So it's really that kind of population that actually they really wanted, be interesting to support. Guam in itself is considered a rural, so we already know and learned that being in a rural is also give us a plus in able to avail on these grants. So I was able, I'm gonna be sharing with Dean Pilar and our nursing and highlight team. Hopefully we can connect with some of the advisors because it's nice to talk with our fellow nurses. And the other things that's very interesting there that I'm trying to work on and how can we get this National Health Service scholar. So one is the Nurse Corps Scholar and also the National Health Service Scholarship. But we are students and they wanted to pursue and then do an advanced degree going into advanced nursing and also going into some of our students maybe from GCC that are interested to further their studies into going into a medical program and to be able to avail that. Guam has 6 designated facilities as a national health service, meaning that those scholars, especially they're from Guam, and those are student scholars, if after they graduate, they can come back to us here in Guam and able to pay up their loan by service. So we do have, aside from the public health and the behavioral health, we have FHP, we just had our designation, AMC, SDA, and Todo Guam. So we do have our own students that have the opportunity to come back and serve our community. It's really one way for us of building our healthcare workforce. So that's really things that I was able to learn. And I thank PIHOA for inviting me and sponsoring me to be attend and learning a lot about HRSA. And the other things is I'm so proud of our ADN cohort student. They attended our GNA membership meeting and our continuing education. Our speaker is Ms. Lilian Posadas, talk about nursing resilience. And she's going to be one of our instructor, right? Our students really ask a lot of questions and they're very engaging and I couldn't have been proud of that cohort. So, I think we're building up a good team, a good student and a good professionals that are coming out in the workforce. So, and I'm so proud of them because they really got us and engaging us questions. And of course, with Barbara Mafnas is there bringing all the students cohort. So proud to hear that being a GCC board. So that's it for me. Thanks.
Thank you for sharing. Great to hear. Any other comments from any of the
I think
trustees?
the 2 of us attended the youth build ceremony, right, the completion ceremony. We also had the Sherman conference in August. Apple was there as well. So I'm happy to see our HR team present and actually participating. She's on our board for sure.
Mhm. Congratulations. Oh.
It's not her first rodeo. She's been on the board before.
Okay, anything else? Okay, moving on, unfinished business. Let's start with construction project updates.
Okay, for the Wellness Center, GCC continues to work with Terra May on the design of the Wellness Center, particularly in regards to the integration of emergency shelter provisions required for FEMA and DORA funding. The 60% design completion has been postponed to September due to several design considerations. For the solar parking, Building 1000 and Building D, for Building 100 PV project, TRMA provided the Building 1,140 kilowatt hybrid PV system, 30% design on July 31st. A 60% design will be prepared by October to include more electrical and structural details for the hybrid PV system. For Building D PV project, solar panel installation is 95% complete. The overall project is 85% complete and the project is anticipated to be completed by late September. For Building 600, TRMA continues to work with GCC to enhance the overall design of Building 600, TRMA will be providing the updated 60% design by the end of September. And for the GCC Nursing Annex, the college held several meetings with Public Health, BPW, and TRMA to discuss the needs of both institutions so that we can provide that information to TRMA as they work through the design process. So right now, when we met with the director for public health, she designated one of her chiefs to be working with us, to be collecting the information that we will funnel to TRMA. So the design will include spaces on the bottom floor for specialty clinics for public health. And on the second floor, it'll include simulation labs for nursing, paramedics, EMT, and other health-related programs.
I did ask a question, because I'm thinking about that. We're gonna have a nursing building, it's gonna be shared with public health. So I asked, because there is a grant there, the simulation education training, the T4 really provide funding to build our facility. So asked them, is any way that can be shared, because with public health and us, and they're gonna look into it.
Oh, that's great.
So, we're gonna have, because public health is, can get into a funding to build, but we also can see if we can share that, because we're gonna make it as a simulation facility for our students. So probably we can have to look into and see it can, a collaboration with the facility and the institution.
Okay.
So I raised that question, because I'm
Okay.
thinking about our science building.
I circled that part and the
Yeah.
handout you gave me, and I'll speak to Zena about that. And that was the last items that I was in.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? Okay, moving on to new business. Starting with policy 455,
Thank you.
which is related to the selection of the president.
Thank you, Prof.
So we had a policy review 2 days ago with members of the faculty, as well as the trustees, as well as the admin. And in front of you, you have 2 copies. One that shows the edited version
Yeah.
and the comments and strikeouts. And then you have a finished version. Or is this the original, Bertha?
No, this is the clean.
This is the clean version, right? This is the clean version
Yes,
with all the comments and
Yeah.
marks removed. Correct.
She said that they didn't know. British.
Yes, yes.
The final is
We weren't able to have all the board of trustees available for the review. So I asked that we present this during the board meeting for those that were not in attendance to have a chance to review it, and provide their feedback before it goes back to review for final editing. And again, before it's presented to the board for approval.
I don't have no fun. I have reviewed it online.
Well, there's 2 things
Yeah.
that were brought up by faculty, right? So if you look on the clean version, on page 2, the first thing that was brought up was during the initial review, the committee was looking at trying to eliminate a combination of administrative experience and teaching experience to allow more flexibility, to get more applicants to apply. The faculty's concern is teaching is a very big part of what the community college does. And so they'd like to see a component of teaching still be there with a minimum requirement versus possibly 7 or 9 years of administrative and 0 teaching, or 7 or 9 years of teaching and no administrative, right? So their ask is for us to consider a minimum of 2 years teaching still remain, and the remaining balance can be done with administrative. So minimum 2 years teaching experience. Okay?
Instead of 7.
Well, the review committee had suggested to eliminate the minimum requirements altogether
Okay.
and to allow just for any combination of years, as long as it met the minimum 7 or 9, depending on which level the degree you have, right? Faculty pushed back and asked that we consider at least minimum 2 years of instructional in the classroom for consideration, right? Okay. So food for thought for you guys to look at before the next review. The second thing that they also brought up was currently there are 7 steps within the selection of the president. We weren't able to do this in the previous search. What they're asking for now is the possibility of having a open forum within the community GCC. That would be the students, faculty, admin, the board, again, within the GCC community.
Okay.
To be able to have a open forum with the short list of candidates after the selection committee has pushed through their recommendations. Just to get to know who the candidates are. Obviously, they know that they don't have a vote on the selection of the president, but they want to be involved in that process more than they were previously, right? And so that's also for consideration before the next review. Francine, did I miss anything on behalf of the faculty?
No, it's just the form and then the post-secondary, or the 2 years of post-secondary.
Okay.
You know, one of the things that came up during the process too was limiting the doctoral and or master's degree to education administration or a closely related area, and really defining what does that mean, or in a discipline offered at the college. So we had to decline a candidate based on having a doctoral degree, but not in these particular areas. So was that discussed?
That was discussed.
Okay.
Okay, so I had asked the same question, why was it, or in a discipline offered at the college? Because I didn't look at the job description prior, so the rationale I got was that by putting in a discipline offered at the college, it gives our faculty more of an advantage, because if they're teaching a discipline offered at the college versus somebody else who's teaching something totally different, they would have more of an opportunity to actually be interviewed for that position. So it was, I believe, a union president at that time that had requested that language be incorporated into the description.
Is it relevant though? Because in the last selection or last vacancy, there are no applicants from the college.
Yeah.
So I just feel like they're qualified candidates who we didn't have the opportunity to even meet because we canceled them or we disqualified them based on this limitation, if you will. So I'm just wondering whether or not, you know, can we put preferences versus excluding other candidates from applying?
That was discussed.
That was discussed.
Yeah, and like I said, the only reason why it was included was based on the information I received was it was a faculty request to include it, but based on the candidates that have applied, that might be something that the board can look into adjusting. I think in the past, there were internal candidates that applied for the position and they qualified the faculty qualified based on that language.
And again, we haven't had to look for a search for a president in 18 years, right? And so having to go back to the drawing board and revisit the policies, you know, lesson learned, right? We thought we would have had a host come in and be able to do it. The reality is we had very limited options to select from who were able to qualify. But part of the reason why we also looked at revising the combination of years to just from minimums 3 and 4 and 4 and 5 was to try and open up those gates to allow more applicants, right? But faculty still has a concern that they would like to have teaching experience in the classroom be a part of the consideration, right? As opposed to having 7 years all administrative in the office and nothing in the classroom. They want to know that their next president has stepped into their shoes and understands what they feel, right? And what they're going through. And rightfully so. Right? So food for thought, but yes, that was mentioned for consideration to remove that portion. And it was also brought up at a time because you still have faculty within the GCC community that automatically won't qualify because they don't have a master's in their division or field, right? And so even that, it still limits faculty as a whole from being able to vie for that level of executive participation. But we're gonna try and do what we can, and that's what the review's for, right? To try and balance, to try and align things better so that we can open the doors and get a really good candidate in again.
This is a good exercise because we really have to look at what is the role of the president. You know, as the CNO, run the operations of the community college. And we can really water the qualities, you know, running the college, the community college as a business. And I think it's an opportunity for us to really think it through. Because, you know, experiencing the limitations of candidates. Yeah, well,
Yeah, I mean,
think about,
it goes hand in hand, right? There's always considerations for both, right? And so you can take a person, put them in a room and say that they're a teacher, but just because they have a certificate doesn't make them the best teacher in the world, right?
absolutely.
And vice versa, just because they have classroom exercise, you can put them into an office, and if they have 2 or 3 years with administrative, they may not be the strongest candidate to be able to run the entire college, right? And so we all have to take that into consideration when we're looking at these requirements. So yeah, please take that into consideration for the next review. 1 is the open forum.
Okay.
2 is the combination of years between teaching and admin. And then 3 now would be also a discipline offered by the college, right? Whether that we include or remove or we edit that, right? Requirement.
Yeah, I just want to say though, the word is or, it's not like it has to be. So it has to be a degree from an accredited college or university in education administration or closely related area, or in a discipline offered at the college and a combination. So it's not like
Well, I think the person,
yes, we're not limiting it to just the discipline offered
well, I think the person that did was disqualified.
because we said
Was
we
not
must.
a discipline
At all,
Uh,
related.
related to the college at all.
So it
And
wasn't
then he
a,
wasn't able to get in.
they didn't have a doctoral degree from a college
Well,
or
it depends
in a
on what it was.
related? Is that what you're saying?
Related, the closely, so there's 2 parts.
There's 2 parts.
It's the closely related, or closely related to education administration, so that's not clear.
Yeah.
Alright, so we.
So it wasn't in
need to see
education or administration. So then the second thing was to look at what is their degree in, right?
Okay.
And if it's not offered if they don't have that course offered here at GCC, then that second part doesn't avail them either as an option.
Yeah, I can see the discipline offered at the college. I guess, like we're just saying, maybe closely related area needs to be a little bit more
Yeah, so
clear
we just have to
than
think
that
about
way we're
that for the
not
next
limiting
review.
it, but I don't think
Honestly, we
that's
want to
what
make this as quickly as possible because this is going to impact our upcoming search for a president. So
Do you have
we will
the timeline to do this?
we'll revisit and reschedule another review when more people can be in attendance to get that final before presenting to the board for approval.
Can we also get a defined, I guess, list of what is closely related?
Can you provide that to the
To
board,
us.
please?
Yeah, thanks.
Okay.
Mhm.
Any questions regarding that policy or concerns?
Okay.
Okay. Moving on, the next business of the agenda is the Vice President of Academic Affairs job description to be updated. And part of the reason why we want to have this updated is when we take a look at realigning the requirements of the VP and the President. You want to go ahead and just elaborate on that really quick?
So what the board chairman requested is that HR look at all the administrative positions to make sure that the qualifications are kind of progressive to the positions. So what Apple did was she made some changes into the minimum experience and training, right, portion of it, and, can I refer to Apple to explain? Apple?
Sure.
Okay.
So, when we look at just at the minimum education and experience for the president, it allows for a master's degree, for someone with a master's degree to apply. However, when we look at the current, job specs for the vice president for academic affairs, it only has a doctoral degree. And so to kind of align it so that it's not so stringent compared to the president position, we wanted to go ahead and add the master's degree.
So it was more difficult to apply for the Vice President of Academic Affairs than it was to apply as the President position. So when we reviewed that, we wanted to kind of realign. That didn't make sense to us. Right, and so we asked them to revisit it, and so this is what the updated policy now gives an option for a master's or a doctoral with corresponding experience, right?
So I just have a couple of comments. In the president's selection, minimum education is from an accredited college or university. Is there any reason why we don't include that for the vice president?
It doesn't have the accredited,
Or it doesn't?
no,
So we can add
it just
that
says from
Says-
education.
Education closely related.
Nor does it say or in discipline.
Oh, it does
offered at
say
the college.
So it does say right here.
It says from an accredited college or university, or doctoral degree in education administration, or closely related
Oh,
discipline.
discipline.
Accredited college.
Yeah, the discipline.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
But not for the masters.
But not for
The masters, I think
Master's
it
is
says
also-
college,
it
accredited
also says
college.
closely
Yeah.
discipline
Yes.
from an
So it's
accredited.
Accredited college.
How about what we just discussed now with the discipline offered at the college, giving GCC employees more preference?
I mean, we could include it because the person that applies, if we put that as a preference, would be familiar with the programs offered here. So that makes sense to include it in this because as an academic vice president, you deal a lot with curriculum. So having that knowledge and that the disciplines that we offer would be beneficial.
I don't have any problem
I
with that.
don't
It's a
have
great
problem with
idea.
that, yeah.
And then it just says experience teaching. Do we want to define how many years in the same way that we did for?
The 2 years?
Well, that's kind of where, with the president's, qualifications, to have the combination of experience teaching and not really specify that, how many years. So it broadens the ability for other people to apply.
For VP?
Yeah.
And then unpreferred experience after university or school is preferred. I think we can strike that as preferred.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. We're gonna also gonna be,
But with the changes, we're gonna have to review it.
I mean, the currently have it all done before the next board meeting for approval. Okay.
Apple, can you make those adjustments to the?
Sure.
Yeah.
Posting for the job description? Any other questions regarding that? Moving on to President's travel schedule.
Okay, so the first item is the 2026 ACCT Leadership Congress. So for that particular travel, I will be accompanying the board to Chicago. For the second one, it's the 2026 ACCJC Partners in Excellence Conference. So this is an annual conference. There's a section specifically for executive leaderships, like the presidents of the colleges. And for this particular conference, based on my conversation with Kristen Charles, who is our new liaison, there's a component of this conference that deals with the poster session. And what I would like to do is bring a student to this poster session because it's student focused. And what I'd like the student to do for this particular session is to focus on the commendation that we had when we had the visit, the latest accreditation visit, when the commendation was tied to the opportunities we give our students to participate in decision-making, opportunities we give our students to voice their concerns and recommendations, and how we've implemented the recommendations or addressed their challenges. So I've spoken to Dr. Mike, who has already spoken to Associate Dean Gerald, and I think they're having a meeting today to talk about the poster session with the student leaders to identify an individual to accompany me on this trip, because our accreditors were very impressed with the commendation that we gave us, which is linked to student involvement.
That's pretty good.
And the school, the college would pay for the
Students, yes. we
Pay
have
for
to-
one student.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, that sounds like a great plan.
Can I get a motion to approve the President's travel schedule as noted?
So moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, travel schedule approved. To include the student, the one student.
One student, yeah, can you do that? Make sure it's a good one student. She's gonna
If
bring
there's
up-
nothing else, can I get a motion to move into executive session?
I move, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Executive session it is.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thanks, Tina. Second motion?
Oh, I second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, regular session, If there's nothing else, before we adjourn, any questions, concerns, comments? Okay, can I get a motion to adjourn?
Oh, go ahead, to adjourn.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, meeting adjourned.
Here goes.